Welcome back to Generation Degenerate. I'm your host, Chris, and as always, I'm being assisted by my partner in crime, Andy. Today, we're going to be talking about relationships. It's going to be a really fun and interesting episode. Today, we're actually joined by my sister, Christine.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on our show, Christine. Christina, I want to start us off with previous relationships. I mean, I've been in a lot of strange relationships where I thought it was the right person, and it turns out that I couldn't have been any more wrong. Could you elaborate a little bit on your experiences you've had with people?
Oh, yes. I would be more than happy to. I think my problem, as often is a lot of problem with females, is that we try to be the fixer, kind of the fixer-upper. So we kind of subconsciously go for males that we want to fix. But alas, they are broken, and unless somebody really wants change, it's just not going to happen.
Right, and I don't think you're entirely off there, and I'm pretty sure Andy can attest to this as well. The whole project, and I'm putting this in quotes for a reason, guys. The project, like, oh, I'm gonna find somebody, and even if they have a major flaws, I'm gonna try to fix them and morph them into this person. I personally don't think anybody changes unless they want to. And that's just me.
Well, I think you can change people. I really think that...
But even if it's major, like, just terrible, there's so many flaws with this person, like major flaws. Like, this person might be into eating people. I don't know.
Maybe it depends on the person's personality or something.
But that's a personality flaw. Can you fix a personality flaw?
You can. You definitely can fix a personality.
It
just takes a lot of humility, because you don't want to yell at somebody that you're a stubborn person, or anything like that. But it just kind of, you definitely can change people, but I don't think people want to change. I really don't think that people care enough to change, because people see people as disposable. And if you can dispose of something, then you can get rid of it quickly.
Now, I definitely want to piggyback off that. When you talk about the whole disposable thing, do you think that's kind of warped in with the whole idea of like social media?
Absolutely. If you can friend somebody one day, unfriend them, get rid of them, create a virtual reality where everything is fake, nothing is real, and you live in that world, and you expect people to connect with you on a real human-to-human basis, and you wonder why your relationships fail. It's essentially you're killing off the empathy in your brain. You are killing off your empathy, and that's how you learn to live and survive.
Nuts. I definitely agree with certain points that you made. Now, with my past relationships, I feel like a lot of these people have kind of came into my life. I thought they were one person, and they turned out to be something completely different. And I didn't necessarily have these ridiculous high expectations. I mean, maybe that's... And I'm not necessarily an alpha male or anything, but there are some guys that are like, oh, I have no problem if my wife or girlfriend's the breadwinner. But I felt like I was really cool with who they were, and I could totally see myself being with that person. But I often felt like their expectations of me were unrealistic. Like, they felt like I had to be their personal trainer, I had to be their confidant, I had to be so many different things.
So then you're saying that you can't have one man for every need. You need to have different guys for every task.
Not necessarily every guy. I think it's different people that can meet certain things. Like, in terms of like having a personal trainer, you can have your own personal trainer. You can seek advice from friends. You can seek advice from family members. There are different things that different people can offer.
Different resources.
There are plenty of resources out there. The person you spend the rest of your life with doesn't have to necessarily be your God. You don't have to turn to this person for every one of the needs that you need met, because that's unrealistic, and we can both agree to that. I hope so.
Well, no, I agree, but I think people get bored. I think people get very bored of each other. I think that they go looking for other things, and once you have that thing in a kind of a capitalistic world, you want more. You want the better version.
But don't you feel like
you're always looking for that better version.
But don't you feel like some people are just naturally boring people?
I do.
There's a lot of boring people. I'm not telling viewers at home to go after the most boring person that's financially stable as you can. I just feel like a lot of the people that feel like they want more don't necessarily have a lot to offer the other person.
They have nothing to offer, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
It's a catch-22 though, because you're like, well, I'm not necessarily the most interesting person, and
but I want the most interesting
and
person.
that's it. That's
yeah,
it.
I want
That's
the
it.
alpha, but I'm a beta. And all of you beta males out there, I apologize. I really do. I apologize to you.
Now, right now, I wanna spend a little bit of time talking about social media and the negative.
Oh yes, a fantastic topic.
And we touched on this before, but I want to pick your brain on how strange it can be, where it's like your entire relationship is being broadcasted to the world. Everything from like we're in a relationship and we're committed, to every picture of you guys eating a salad together, to every vacation that you guys go on together. All of that is being broadcasted, and nobody stops and thinks that that's kind of strange.
Right.
I want you to talk to me about
Well, in a world of betas that aren't free thinking, and they're not able to think freely because their desires are created. Their desires are created. They don't understand that what they want is not what they really want. It's what they've been programmed to want. And so they go along with this programming, and once the programming starts to break apart, then do they realize that they've lived kind of a wasted life.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there. When you say programming, what do you mean by that?
I mean that through through television, through mass media. I'm not going to get too much into it because we would like to keep our channel up and going, but I do believe that
I'm gonna stop it right there.
There's a lot.
Keep watching, keep subscribing.
Right. There's a lot of manipulation from certain beings that have vested interest in keeping people very scared, very drugged, and very fearful. Very fearful about what are people going to think about me. Fear of isolation, that's a big one. And it's weird because the paradox is I have all these fake friends on Facebook and social media, but yet if I really need like a kidney, who am I going to call? A Facebook friend? Who are you going to call? You're going to pick up the phone and call who?
And I hate to cut you off. That's a very valid point, but forget about a kidney for a second, or a liver transplant, or something in terms of a medical procedure. There are so few people that I can think of off the top of my head that I can call right this very instant and will drop what they're doing, or pretend like they're actually doing something and come to my aid. Because in 2018, guys, we know you guys don't all have a whole lot going on all the time. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, paying bills. Look, you're not fooling anybody. Every single person here has lied to somebody and said that I've been way too busy to help somebody out. Truth be told, people are lazy and they're so used to letting people down that it's kind of the norm.
Yeah.
It's kind of the norm. And with social media, though, you were speaking of how people feel like they're programmed into thinking and acting a certain way, and I totally relate to that, and I totally think you hit the nail on the head there. But it's like, guys, there is no way you can have a normal relationship with somebody romantically. Even from a friendship perspective, if two friends are constantly posting videos and images of each other, people might be like, well, are these two really all that happy, or are they just trying to prove that they're happy?
Right, because what's the point of documenting every happy moment and not really experiencing it for what it is? You're documenting it for other people. You're documenting it to create envy in other people, and that's a little bit wrong. It just smacks of just kind of resentment for
Disingenuine.
people. Yeah, people learn to become that way, and it's kind of sickening, and I really don't care. That's just how I feel personally.
Some people are more worried about the process of documenting than enjoying the actual moment, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like this is something that's been taught.
It's so dehumanizing.
It's very dehumanizing. Unless I literally take an image and I throw it out there and you all see it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It's so weird.
You need
there's
the
so many
views to
things.
make it legitimate.
Yeah.
Without the views, it never happened.
And there's so
That's
many
how
things
this
that
platform works. So,
Guys, right now I'm gonna throw you guys some marriage stats that might blow your minds. In 1963, the average age of marriage for women in this country nationwide was 21. 23 for men and 21 for females. I want you guys to throw some numbers out there. What do you guys think in 2017 was the average age nationwide that people were getting
I
married?
don't know. Are we still under the impression that marriage is a good thing? Is that like how am I supposed to think about this?
I think I'm gonna go from the I guess you call me the romantic, thinking that
the
there
more
can
conservative
be.
view.
Well, not even necessarily conservative. I think that one person doesn't necessarily, like I mentioned before, they don't have to have every check in the box for what you're looking for somebody. But if you're genuinely happy with somebody, there can be one person that meets your romantic criteria. That's where I'm coming from. So. But I want you guys to throw some numbers out there. In 2017, Christine, what do you think was the average age for women to get married?
2017, I'd say like 34
34. You'd actually be surprised. It was 27 nationwide.
nationwide.
Nationwide, mind you, there's more metropolitan areas where, due to cost of living, due to even potentially education reasons, women wanted to finish their masters and maybe their doctorate programs. They were getting married later.
Is that for women or?
That was 27 was for women in
Oh, okay.
2017. It was actually 30 for men. 30 for men. So people are definitely getting married older, and obviously finances are. We can all be real here. Cost of living in metropolitan areas are a lot higher than maybe urban areas as well as rural areas. If someone's living in Montana, they're probably, in order to survive or live a more comfortable life, they're going to be getting married younger. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, it's just the facts.
Okay.
So, you use the word conservative, and I want you to elaborate on why conservative and marriage kind of go hand in hand.
Well, because I think that the conservative narrative is often religious. Because, and I have no political party whatsoever at all. I don't believe that there are two sides or any of that. I do believe that a person that calls themselves a quote-unquote conservative just sticks to these old myths. They're myths, these old myths of two becoming one, like Christ is one with the church. And so they take these ideas and these philosophies and they actually try and apply them to Homo sapiens in the 21st century, and it doesn't mesh. It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I definitely do feel like there could be there is a correlation to some extent between conservatives wanting people to get married because those two people can merge together and become maybe more productive members of society, i.e. they pay their taxes. These are people that are registered to vote.
So these people wouldn't be registered to vote or pay taxes.
I don't know.
Not?
I feel like
It's so that the other person can keep an eye on the other person. It's just espionage. It's like spying.
I'm not going to use
It's
espionage.
weird.
I don't think that people getting married is necessarily the whole purpose of people getting married should be you spying on the other person, because I hope that people are getting married for more for more or less better reasons than just espionage. Like, so I think that was a very valid point that you did. I think parts of that are valid, that maybe there are third-party groups out there, conspiracy alert, that might want people to get married because they feel like they can control them more. We're not going to throw any names out there. But I just personally feel like if you want to get married to somebody, you should get married to them because you care about them and you love them. And I don't think you should necessarily go into it trying to change each other, because that doesn't make any sense to me. But at the same time, I personally don't think that that person has to be every single check in the box. That person doesn't have to be your confidant, your personal trainer. That person doesn't have to be your farmer. That person doesn't have to be everything that you want. A lot of people, and I'm going to use this term and I hope nobody gets triggered, a lot of liberal people have false, very, very, very false
Memories of the world.
they have these false guidelines that
we
they
should
feel
have
like
that.
this person has to be a humanitarian. This person has to be a social justice warrior. This person has to make $100,000 a year.
Social justice.
It's very difficult to fit all those criteria and still be a breadwinner.
Yeah.
Guys, and especially the girls at home watching this, I love you guys, but please, for the love of God, get your head out of the dirt. Just get your head out of the dirt. Just dust it off a little bit and be like, you know what?
Don't take it too seriously, ladies. We'll have it coming for the guys too. I promise.
I just personally think that women have strange expectations, and I think guys are kind of stupid, most guys. But I think women's expectations of what men should be are a little bit out of this world.
As are the expectations of men as to what women should be.
Yeah, we have high
That's for
expectations.
another
Yes,
day.
physically, yes, and we're definitely
We're
gonna
gonna
dive.
talk about
We're gonna dive into this more.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
gonna dive into this more. Christine, what kind of tips do you have for the guys and gals at home?
Try to be whole yourself before you go trying to fix another person, and it's okay to be single. Don't worry about being single. That's how you discover yourself. Be a whole person before you go out and find.
Mine's is going to be in regards to online dating. Look, I know a lot of people use online dating to meet more people, and there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm simply saying is if you're one of those people that post a picture of yourself or 6 or 7 pictures of yourselves with filters and you don't look like who you really are, you might want to stop using online dating. And yeah, online dating is a very superficial and fake platform where people puff themselves up and make themselves look like they're these stellar people and they turn out not to really be. Avoid online dating if you can, because I think it's really, really strange that people are literally checking each other based on what they look like, and I think it's very strange. People could be lying about their personalities. You get into a chat with a complete stranger, and this person's telling you that they're an entrepreneur and they're making upwards of $8,000 to $9,000 a month, and you're like, why is this person disclosing this information with a complete stranger? And it turns out this person's living in their basement of their parents' house. So avoid it if you can. It doesn't make any sense.
And I guess that'll do it for our first show. And we're gonna have things up and coming quick. So you guys check us out, Generation Degenerate, and we will see you next time.
Hey, God bless you guys. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much.